powered by Motorola Razr 40, co-powered by Sera and Marisk.
Through insight now, top sources suggesting government close to agreement for peace in Manipur. Sources say CBI to take over the viral video case. The man who made the video now has been held along with the phone. Sources suggest the dialogue between the two groups in the centre, supervised by Amit Shah himself, with the Prime Minister being briefed almost daily. $35,000 security personnel deployed to maintain law and order. Manipur is brought under Central's security advisor. The Prime Minister's fiercest ever attack on the India bloc. He says renaming yourself will not do you any good. DK Shivkumar stokes a controversy. He says not enough funds for development in the state this year. A very good evening. The show's called The Burning Question, and we begin this edition of the news this evening with a quick breaking update that's coming in from Manipur. In fact, in the last 60 minutes or so, you have seen repeated developments that have been reported of the kind of action that the centre has now swung into action with to ensure that the situation in Manipur returns to normalcy as soon as possible. In fact, right now, what we can tell you is that 6 cases will be transferred to the CBI. The NIA will be investigating about 3 cases from Manipur. All the Myanmari citizens crossing border will be put on Aadhaar and the voter ID negative list with their compulsory biometrics. Keeping in mind that there has been a lot of concern also about infiltration, and that's exactly why this is important. Let's try and see if we can get an Abhishek who's getting us these details right now. Abhishek, if you can hear me. Okay, I don't think we still have Abhishek with us. But like I said, over the last few minutes, you have seen developments coming in from Manipur, where it seems that the government is clearly working according to a plan. The man who actually had shot that entire video has been identified. He's been arrested. And Abhishek, you're getting us more details of cases that will be transferred to the CBI and to the NIA now.
The case is going to go to the CBI, but then already we have information. The 6 cases have already been transferred to the CBI, to NIA. That seems like a master plan being
Okay, we just have a very bad audio line with Abhishek there, but we'll try to get him back. And continuously on your screens and on the bottom screen, remember you're seeing more updates that are coming in right now from the state of Manipur, what the centre has done so far. And like Abhishek underscored, there are cases that are being transferred to the CBI, to the NIA also. And this particular video case, the viral video case, like we also told you a little earlier, will also now be investigated by the CBI. And there is a conspiracy angle also, allegedly, that is now going to be probed by the agencies. So like you would have got a sense, the focus this evening should be and would be on Manipur, because Manipur, again, remember, is a story that has kind of shocked all of us. There are questions that have been raised on the government in the state of Manipur, questions that also have gone out to the centre. You have seen the Supreme Court that has, remember, said about the case, and it told the centre in as many words that in case you do not act, we would. You've seen the Prime Minister breaking his silence also on Manipur. The Prime Minister, before the monsoon session even began, said he's deeply disturbed, he's anguished, and he's in pain with respect to the viral video that actually came out from Manipur. And following that comment, you have seen some bit of action coming in from the state government. There have been about 7 arrests that have taken place so far. But the critical question still remains. The Chief Minister of the state, N. Biren Singh, is not willing to go. He still hasn't resigned. We haven't seen much heads rolling. But what has happened in the last 60 minutes tell you that this is a situation that the government clearly wants to get a handle on. Now, I quickly want to tell you what we know about the quick breaking developments so far, and then we'll also have a panel of guests that has joined us. And in the middle of all this, you have seen Manipur that has dominated headlines all through the last 1 week. You have seen that entire issue that has been raised by the opposition that goes by the acronym India. The opposition says the Prime Minister needs to make himself available for a discussion on Manipur. Now, the Prime Minister, on the other hand, remember, has been briefed almost on a daily basis of all the action that has been taken in the state so far. And everything, ladies and gentlemen, that you see around you, that you hear around you, remember, is laser focused right now on the big elections of 2024 also. The Prime Minister earlier was campaigning in Rajasthan. That goes to elections. He later was in Gujarat. He's hit out at the opposition for their black politics. He's coined a new slogan. He says, Bhrashtachar, quit India. He says, Tushtikaran, quit India. And he also does speak about Parivarvad, dynasty, something again that has been the top focus of the government. All this as the center is also battling the entire crisis right now in Manipur. So the first important update that you all must know about is the man who actually shot that entire viral video that shamed all of us, that shocked all of us, made us numb, gave us goosebumps. The man has been identified, he's been arrested. The phone that he used has also been seized by the agencies. What we also can tell you is that that particular case now stands transferred to the Central Bureau of Investigation that will also try to answer questions whether there is a larger conspiracy behind that video and why that video actually just came out on the eve of the monsoon session of the Parliament. Also importantly, the centre has indicated that it is willing now to hand over the probe to another state, as in the case because is related to Manipur, but now all these cases will be tried in the state of Assam to ensure that there is a free and fair probe, because questions have been raised, remember, on the Chief Minister, who continues to be the Chief Minister, on the state's own complicity, as the opposition has alleged. And like Abhishek was just telling us a little moment earlier, some of the cases also get transferred to the NIA. So the question we'll ask this evening on the burning question is that will we see the black politics finally ending? Why I say black? Because we've seen the opposition today dressed in black in the Parliament. Will this mean that the opposition will walk hand in hand now with the government, with the centre, and try and ensure that there is peace and normalcy in the state of Manipur? Let's bring up the story that has highlights of what has happened through the day, the reactions that have come in so far, and then we debate.
85 days after large-scale violence broke out in Manipur, there is a big breakthrough in sight. Top sources suggest that the centre is close to agreement for peace in Manipur. Dozen rounds of talk happened between both groups in Manipur, which was supervised under Union Home Minister Amit Shah, with the Prime Minister taking an update in every 3 hours.
There are several people who have lost their loved ones. And what has essentially happened is that people had to leave their own hometown and seek refuge in other states. In fact, several of them have actually come to the national capital. Some have gone to other neighboring states in northeast.
Normalcy is round the corner for Manipur, as recent data suggests that as schools and office attendance picked up in Manipur. In In last 1 week, there has been 72% attendance in offices and 82% attendance in schools. With that, the Unified Agency Command Under Centre's security advisor is in control of law and order situation. With that, in recent update in the Manipur viral video case, where 2 women were seen paraded naked, has been transferred to the CBI and the trial is likely to be in Assam. The man who shot that viral video has also been caught and an FIR has been registered. Will the opposition now stop politics in Manipur? That's the burning question tonight.
So what happens from here on? That's going to be extremely important. You know, all leaders, whether in the ruling dispensation or in the opposition, if they really want peace in Manipur, will we see them united? I think that's a very important question that we'll try to find an answer to. As we say good evening to Neeti Jain, spokesperson of the BJP with us. Krishna Hegdeji is a spokesperson of the Shinde faction, Shiv Sena. Siddharth Sharma is the spokesperson for the Aam Aadmi Party. Good to have you, Siddharth. Mahesh Begala is a BRS leader. The BRS for the moment, neither with the NDA, neither with INDIA. So we have to keep asking them, where are they in the national interest? And Nikhil Jain is an advocate and a political analyst. He also leans towards the Congress. Let's begin with Siddharth. Siddharth, will we see the end of black politics finally? In the last 60 minutes, one by one, there have been updates that have come in from the MHA that indicate that we could possibly be on the verge of a major breakthrough. You know, between the Kuki and the Meitei factions, we could be seeing peace soon. So will you say we join hands with the government to ensure that peace and normalcy returns to Manipur?
Well, Deepti, there is a high school simple mathematics formula which says that however big a figure is, if multiplied by 0, the result is always going to be 0. So whatever initiatives have been taken, please understand, in a parliamentary democracy, when the parliament is in session, the government is supposed to update the parliament because it consists of people from across India as representatives. So I think if the government is so sure about such a breakthrough coming up, rather than giving it tidbits on any television channel, howsoever credible it is, I think the parliament is the best place. And I think if this is such a nice thing that is happening, I think it is all the more reason for the Prime Minister to curtail his shyness in not opening a debate in the parliament and tomorrow itself start the debate in parliament regarding Manipur. I think if, as you say, there's a breakthrough, which is a most welcome step. So then the Prime Minister should open this discussion in the parliament tomorrow. Why is he shying away from it? How come these issues are coming up on television channels and not in the parliament, which is the bona fide place where these kind of issues have to be informed to the people's representative by the government of the day? So it's as simple as that. I think if there is any progress in any kind of peace negotiation, it is always welcome. But again, my answer is, high school, even primary school mathematics states that howsoever big a figure, if you multiply it by 0, the result is still going to be 0. I think the BJP government, if you have Mr. Biren Singh or Mr. Vijbhushan Singh as your mascots, and where women are paraded naked, and still say that we are going to come up with a solution to this, I think there's no more irony than this. Irony just died 1,000 deaths when you say that under Mr. Biren Singh's and Mr. Vijbhushan Charan Singh's leadership, you are going to come up with any kind of peace solution in which the women of Manipur or women of India were paraded naked. I think what is going to happen, the no confidence motion is already in place. The no confidence motion will be a moment of reckoning for BJP and its supporters. Do they support an idea called the Chal, Charitra and Chehra that BJP stands for? Or are they fans of an individual today who has become Dhritarashtra to public humiliation of half of the population, that is the women of India? It is as simple as that.
Siddharth, you've launched a full frontal attack on the BJP, and it's only wise that I let the BJP come in before we open this up to our other panelists. But you do make a good point, and I'll come to the NCM in just a bit. But Neeti, all these points that have come out in the media today via sources of what the centre is doing is welcome. The point that the opposition is asking, why can't we hear this in the parliament? The Prime Minister was in Rajasthan. He is now in Gujarat. Why can't he come to the parliament and say, this is all that we are doing? Why don't you stand with us? And the entire house, the sense of the house, Niti, could be that we are all united in ensuring peace prevails in Manipur. So the opposition is asking, why is the Prime Minister shying away from talking about Manipur in parliament?
All right, Deepthi, I'll just come to your question, but the ignorant rhetoric from every Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson is exemplary. So you say multiplied by 0, sir. I would really request you to go back and look at the Northeast history that we have been seeing in this country. For the last decades, it's the insurgency problem has been going on. In 2019, this government found a peace settlement with NLFT. In 2020, the peace settlement with Bru and Bodo community. In 2021, with the Karbi community. The AFSPA problem has been sorted to a great extent, which was done by this government.
Niti, we'll have a debate on the northeastern region, what has been done there, the sins of the Congress some other time. We just have limited time. Manipur is a burning issue. Niti,
yes.
Niti, this is only a fair question. And I add another question to that. I want to know that if, cases are being moved now from Manipur to the state of Assam, very good. CBI taking over the cases, fantastic. But tell me something, what still makes you bad for N. Biren Singh? Why aren't you sacking him? This clearly again indicates that he has failed. The state administration has failed, Niti.
All right, now coming back to your first question, the government has said that we are ready to discuss this problem in the parliament. Who is it that is stalling this entire matter? It is the Home Minister's prerogative, who has been handling this entire matter, to come and respond to the opposition or answer the opposition about all of those questions. Has the centre even once said that we are not going to come to the parliament or we are not going to respond? No. It is the
but they want to hear the Prime Minister, Niti. The Prime Minister is so popular. When he says something, he has such a great connect. People want to hear the Prime Minister, Niti.
Prime Minister has made a statement and there is a protocol. A Prime Minister has a cabinet that operates. And if there is a minister who has been there, who was there for 3 days, who has taken care of the matters there, who is still holding the peace talks with the people there, he is the best person to be responding. The Prime Minister will respond. Let the discussions begin. Let the opposition at least come inside of the parliament.
Okay, so basically it's all about who blinks first, Niti. Okay, you've made your position very clear. We'll stick to this. Tell me about Biren Singh.
This is about
what makes Biren Singh so popular? What makes him so strong that the centre cannot sack him?
All right. So again, like I was just telling you, the history of Northeast, and I can go on with more if you'd give me time. 8,000 youth surrendered and entered mainstream, 74% less rebellion, 60% less attacks on security.
No, then I will also give you figures. About how many people have been displaced, how many FIRs have been lodged, Niti. This does not work. I asked you a simple question about Biren Singh. Either you tell me that we don't find anything wrong with Biren Singh, he's doing a fantastic job.
That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that this combination of the government has performed in the past. But let us also come down to the other states, right? I don't see you with such fervor asking for Mamata Banerjee to resign or Ashok Gehlot to resign. That also remains the point. There is a chief minister who has performed in the past.
Niti, I know in my heart you watch Republic. So, I think we have had representatives from the AAP, the BRS, the BJP, the Congress on multiple debates on West Bengal. Multiple debates on Rajasthan. So you clearly cannot point a finger at us. That having said, this whataboutery by every political party is not appreciated. This does not go with the sense that the Prime Minister puts out. But before I get in Nikhil here, I want to get in Krishna Hegde if he agrees with what Niti has said so far. Now, Hegde ji, you are a very seasoned politician, sir. Should the sense of the House be just one? Should we see the opposition, as you're alleging, is playing politics? The BJP says the opposition is playing politics. Do you think Biren Singh can continue in his chair?
No, first let me answer the crux of your question. The Honorable Prime Minister has expressed his anguish. He has spoken to the opposition leaders, both Kharge ji and Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary ji, and asked them for their invaluable cooperation, which they are still not giving. Over that, Honorable Shri Amit Shah ji has been in Manipur and he is talking to both the tribes, the leaders of both the tribes and all the groups there. And there is almost, people have been arrested now, and the entire country is pained. The Prime Minister is pained, and the BJP and the allies are willing to discuss it on the floor of the House. So we will be discussing it. I don't know how the AAP spokesperson has been so insensitive. When it's such a serious problem, he is saying plus zero and multiplied by zero. This is the way to talk about such a serious issue in the country. We are going to sort out the issue. Earlier also there have been issues. Whether it's the wrestling, athletes issue, whether it's the farmers
this is
issue.
obviously not personal right now, and I don't have the time to even make this personal. I still have Mahesh Bigalaji, Nikhil Jain who haven't spoken. But I just want to ask you that question again. Can Viren Singh continue? Had it been any other opposition ruled state, sir, would you have not asked for the resignation of the Chief Minister first up? Tell me this.
Are you asking me this
you can
question?
Hear us?
Yeah, please tell me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm asking, had this been Manipur been an opposition ruled state, would you have not asked for the resignation of the Chief Minister?
Let me come to this. There is going to be a discussion in the Lok Sabha, and let the whole issue be discussed in the Lok Sabha. The arrests have been made. Even the state government is working in tandem with the center. You cannot disturb the situation and the issue between the center and the state now. They are working in harmony. Let the things come out, and when the truth will prevail. Who has created a controversy? Whether it was an opposition controversy.
60 plus people dead, sir. 60,000 people displaced. You are telling me that the state and the center are working in tandem. I rest my case, sir. I rest my case. My job is to ask questions, but then people will also decide. People see the approach of political parties. When the shoe is on your feet and when the shoe is on the opposition's feet, sir. Okay, let me get in Nikhil and Mahesh Bigalaji before I go to Siddharth, who also wants to come in. Nikhil, the Prime Minister today has also, hit out at the Achilles heel of the Congress. We've discussed about Manipur, but when the discussion of the no confidence motion happens, Nikhil, the Prime Minister says, Bhrashtachar quit India, Parivarvad quit India, Tushtikaran quit India. How will you explain these charges?
See, Deepthi, the Prime Minister has been levelling these charges for a very long time, and the people of India now realize that these are charges that stick to the Congress or to a lot of the opposition parties. But let's talk about the issue today. You started the show by saying that in the past 60 minutes, there have been a lot of developments in Manipur. The person who shot that gruesome video has been arrested. People are being proceeded against. The investigation will now be looked into by central agencies and a bunch of other developments, and I welcome those developments. But the point is, let's look at the timing of these developments, that the incident happens on the 4th of May. Around 20th of July, the video comes out, and it is only then that the entire state machinery, which is with the BJP in the state as well as center, gets into action. How were they able to arrest the accused in 24 hours? They could have said, Niti, I did not interrupt when you were speaking. Let me make my point.
Niti, give him 30 seconds. He can complete his point, then I'll come to you. Niti, 30 seconds. Give him 30 seconds, Niti.
Deepthi, 20th July, the video comes out and the primary accused is arrested within 24 hours. That is to say that the state machinery could have functioned if they wanted it to. But for 75 days, nothing happened. And now, when the opposition, the monsoon session started and the opposition wanted the Prime Minister to speak on it,
Nikhil, and Republic, right from day one, has been asking the same question of every BJP spokesperson. And with the permission of Mahesh Bigalaji, I quickly want to give a right to reply to Niti here. Niti, this is a question people will ask you. When the incident happens in May, until the video goes viral, there is no action. And then Hegde ji also tells us that the center and state are working in tandem. You are batting here for N. Biren Singh. The center is trying to ensure there is peace, but the state clearly is complicit. It's looking complicit in what has happened so far.
Deepthi, nothing. Center hasn't done anything.
The point is that the Home Minister was already in Manipur in the first week of June. He has been taking action. Every step that needs to be taken is being taken by both the center
but
and the
Niti,
state.
If the government was aware that there is a video like this, why wasn't action taken until the video went viral, Niti?
No. The actions have been taken in whatever capacity that they needed to be taken. About the video, the timing of its coming out has also been questioned, because this is the opposition that does not want the parliament to let the parliament function at all.
Oh, are you alleging a conspiracy?
And to say
you are alleging a
Always alleging
conspiracy,
a
questioning the
conspiracy.
timing of this video.
Of course.
I have to get in Mahesh Vigalaji. He hasn't spoken. He hasn't
because
spoken.
this is not
Now,
the
Mahesh
first
Vigalaji,
session that-
you are
that has
neither on the
been,
side of the
completely
NDA
wiped
or
out.
on the side of INDIA. First up, tell me where you are, and do you believe here that this is a fit case for the resignation of the chief minister or not? Or do you believe that the opposition is playing unnecessary politics?
See, I believe it's like leaving the politics aside. Every Indian should condemn the things what is happening in Manipur. It's very, very unfortunate.
Absolutely.
It's not the government.
Absolutely.
The social media and the courts are taking over this case and asking the government to function the way they should. So definitely, if it is not the BJP government in the central-led government, they should take the stern action against the state and then give the peace and harmony in the state of Manipur. You look at how many people have displaced, what is happening in the country. Don't make this issue as another case for the next election by bringing the peace at the end and say that, another Manipur files and bring another movie according
Who's playing
to
politics?
whatever happened in the past.
Mahesh
Leave the
Vigalaji,
politics
who's
aside.
playing politics? Is it the BJP or is it the opposition, sir?
See, irrespective of what happened, all the parties to come together and look at solving the issue. See, whatever the other parties are doing, why they are interfering? Because the BJP is not acting the way they should. The BJP government is not acting they should. That's how the courts have to interfere and the opposition parties have to interfere.
Okay, so Siddharth, I want to give the final word to you. Okay, Siddharth, the final word to you. Now, every day we see the opposition trying to prove a point. It looks like an ego battle right now. It's all about ego, no? It's all about who blinks first. If you really care about Manipur, Siddharth, is it not important to let the proceedings of the House happen? Let there be peace, let there be conversations, let there be solutions, Siddharth.
Yeah, Deepti, India is a nation of cricket fans. We would like a Dhoni who would promote himself in the World Cup finals and hit the winning runs rather than sit behind in the pavilion. I think the Prime Minister saying that he's a statesman and not coming out to open the debate in the parliament is showing that he's shy. There is a very simple principle. During performing a duty, we face hardship for our
This is exactly such people who are talking now. And then you know what they are talking.
When I
Someone is
strive for
talking
my
about a movie
authority,
here, someone is
it
talking
is the
about other
duty
things.
of BJP to handle
Your heart
Manipur.
should go out to the people of Manipur.
You are
not allowing a discussion.
Okay, so like I said, in spite of all these developments, we do not see a truce. We do not see the NDA and the India faction coming together, but it's important that we do that. Now, tomorrow's going to be another day. We'll see what happens in the parliament only for one of time. Niti and all gentlemen, thank you so much. There is a big breakthrough inside is what the centre tells us. The opposition is not satisfied. We let you, the viewer, decide how the story has panned out on the other side. We are back with lots more.
The Amity MBA has been ranked among India's top 10 for the last 6 years in the Times of India B-School Survey. Yet another top ranking after being ranked among India's top 10 by Economic Times and Business Today. To apply, visit amity.edu.
The issue in Manipur is very complex. The horror of the video in which the women are paraded naked and the gang rape on these women has shaken the entire nation. I call for unity in our national response. There are 36 terrorist groups in Manipur, all of them fully armed. The same people who are calling for greater army presence and central intervention now are the same people who want the powers of the army always curtailed. And now they say, send in the army. There is a Chinese angle. Hundreds, thousands of Chinese arms are entering Manipur. The Congress, which ensured decades of endless bloodshed in the northeast, has no right to lecture us today. If the opposition had been in power in Manipur, if Manipur would have been an opposition ruled state, the centre would have probably thought of imposing 365 by now. The centre and the state government have made a series of mistakes. They need to stop now. The situation in Manipur is complex. It is far from normal. There is a parallel insurgency problem. New videos appear daily that display the barbarity that is underway. The chief minister has failed. And I also said the only thing that can solve the present situation is an expression of unity externally and internally. The government of India is ready for a discussion on what appears to be a great pressing matter of national security. Let a debate happen. But I have never heard of a situation where you don't let a debate happen and block parliament to not have a debate. But when the pro-Khalistani elements tried to bring down the tricolour in the Red Fort, when the consequences became too dangerous to own up for, that is when they do not want to speak a word. If you do not understand the complexities of the Northeast, then enter into a debate on it. Let there be a demand for a proper debate, not just on Manipur, but the entire Northeastern Parliament, and let that be a debate that continues till we find some kind of an intellectual resolution. But do not play with the sentiments of the people of the Northeast. Do not play with the national security. These are complex issues. They require deep and immediate solutions. The issue in Manipur is very complex. The horror of the video in which the women are paraded naked and the gang rape on these women has shaken the entire nation. I call for unity in our national response. There are 36 terrorist groups in Manipur, all of them fully armed. The same people who are calling for greater army presence and central intervention now are the same people who won the powers of the army always curtailed. And now they say, send in the army. There is a Chinese angle. Hundreds, thousands of Chinese arms are entering Manipur. The Congress, which ensured decades of endless bloodshed in the Northeast, has no right to lecture us today. If the opposition had been in power in Manipur, if Manipur would have been an opposition ruled state, the centre would have probably thought of imposing 365 by now. The centre and the state government have made a series of mistakes. They need to stop now. The situation in Manipur is complex. It is far from normal. There is a parallel insurgency problem. New videos appear daily that display the barbarity that is underway. The chief minister has failed. And I also said the only thing that can solve the present situation is an expression of unity externally and internally. The government of India is ready for a discussion on what appears to be a great pressing matter of national security. Let a debate happen. But I have never heard of a situation where you don't let a debate happen and block parliament to not have a debate. But when the pro-Khalistani elements tried to bring down the tricolour in the Red Fort, when the consequences became too dangerous.
Trending burning question powered by Reva University, NECC and Century Ply.
Hello, welcome. You're watching the Trending Burning Question with me, Shavan Sen. Tonight, our focus is on Manipur. How exactly will the situation improve? Given the fact that, ladies and gentlemen, for 85 days, there has been constant violence that has been broken out in several districts of Manipur. Several lives have also been lost. Questions are also being asked about the government of the day, whether at all enough was actually done to prevent this situation that we are staring at this point in time. But there now appears to be a breakthrough in sight. Whether at all the two factions are now going to come together on one platform, whether there are going to be more talks, and how exactly will the situation be diffused. These are some essential concerns that many have at this point in time, given the fact that what we have seen over the last few days is unabated violence. Only in some parts of Manipur where the situation has returned to normalcy. We'll try and break down for you viewers who are tuning in right now. We've got more details of to what exactly has the government really done so far. We're now given to understand that some of the cases are essentially going to be probed by the Central Bureau of Investigation. In particular, 6 such cases would be probed by the Central Bureau of Investigation. This after the centre, in all likelihood, would be filing an affidavit in the Supreme Court. How exactly will the situation be diffused? That's the big question, because what we have seen, viewers, over the last few days, from the time that the session has started here in the national capital, the government has been cornered by the opposition parties by saying that they've completely failed, and more importantly, not enough has been done to prevent loss of lives. Joining us on this broadcast tonight is our Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor, getting us more details as to what has transpired over the last few days, and more importantly, whether at all enough has been done to placate the situation. Abhishek, if I can just come to you first with regards to the details that you're picking up from your sources within the government in order to put more focus on the talks between the Meiteis and the Kukis, because this is one particular aspect, Abhishek, that there hasn't been much focus on with regards to the talks that were actually happening, and that too in a very discreet manner. As we understand, perhaps that's been going on for quite some time. Some talks that have taken place in the state of Assam as well as in the national capital. So let's try and break this down for our viewers. Where have the talks really reached so far?
You're right, Shawan. These were sort of under wraps because of the sensitivities involved, because of the tense situation on the ground. And now sources tell us that 6 rounds of talks with Kukis, 6 rounds of talks with Meiteis parallelly have happened with the bureaucrats of the Ministry of Home Affairs leading them under the overall supervision of the Union Home Minister. In some cases, we are told that Home Minister Amit Shah himself has met the Kuki and the Meitei representatives in Delhi. And so essentially the talks happening in Imphal, in Assam, in Guwahati and in Delhi. Now, these have been long discussions that have happened over a period of last almost a month. And the focus has been to bring back a level of trust, a modicum of trust between the two sides, which then can percolate down to the ground. And we are told, Shawan, that we are very close to a breakthrough. Once that happens, the two sides would be coming on a common platform and making that announcement, obviously, with the Home Ministry top brass present, possibly with the Union Home Minister himself present. So that's a very important significant development and information coming out about these peace talks. And the proof of these peace talks having an impact, sources tell us, is the fact that on the ground, if you look at it, there have been only sporadic cases of violence, one arson there, one incident there, and by and large, things have been in control. The proof of which, for example, is that the last time a death was reported in any of these flare-ups was on July 17th, which is roughly 10 days. And if you look at the events, there have been 2-3 peaks, otherwise peaks of violence and violent incidents. But otherwise, the situation has been in a trough and returning towards normalcy. So that's what sources tell us, that the peace talks are in a very advanced stage and they're already having some effect on the ground.
In fact, Abhishek, I'm running short of time, but I just need to take this one quick question with you, because for those who've understood the deep complexities associated with the state of Manipur, we are talking about a state which has been home to one of the oldest insurgencies in South Asia. In terms of the peace framework or the agreement that we are talking about, what does the contour of that agreement really look like? Because the divide between the Kukis and Meiteis is something many would say is a fault line that existed for a very, very long time. It's only aggravated over a period of time. A quick response in terms of the contour of this agreement that we're talking about.
Well, the first thing is to restore trust between the two communities and to actualize it on the ground in terms of, repatriation of people back to their villages, back to their homes. That's the beginning that is to be made. I believe the focus as of now is on that. Going forward, Shawan, there are some more information. There's more information that has been shared with us. For example, the fencing of the border with Myanmar. Also, the people who come from Myanmar side, the illegal migrants, so to say, they have to undergo biometrics process, and then they have to be put on a negative list for any possibility of them getting Aadhaar cards or voter ID cards. That's a long-term plan which is being implemented. In some ways, it has already started with the administration going village to village and making sure that people who have come recently from the Myanmar side, they are put on the negative list and they should not be able to get any Aadhaar or voting card. So this is on the administrative side, but then essentially the talks focusing on peace as of now, building of trust, people going back to their villages and homes, and then maybe take it forward from there.
Well, thank you very much, Abhishek, for breaking down all the details of what you're picking up from your sources within the government. Let me just quickly take this to our guests who are joining us on the trending burning question, Mr. B.L. Vora, former Home Secretary of Manipur, Shyam Prasad Mekka of the Congress Party, and Savio Rodriguez of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Let me just quickly first take this question to Mr. Vora. Mr. Vora, as far as the current situation is concerned, do you believe that there is an attempt that has been made by the government to try and sugarcoat this entire issue when the government says that the situation is limping back to normalcy? There haven't been any deaths since 17th of July. But the fact of the matter is that there have been incidents of violence. Secondly, we're talking about 85 days of unabated violence at various parts of Manipur. So have we perhaps failed in understanding the complexity associated with the state of Manipur?
Yes. Each word of what you said, Mr. Shaman, is true. Now, definitely, I think there are always intelligence reports when things were brewing, and government should have taken action. The political level, at the bureaucratic level, at the police level. They all failed to grasp the situation and took no action, frankly. So I think that was one failure. Second, now, they have started a little late, but always they say better late than never. So there is a little hope. But there'll be always rogue elements in all communities as they are. So incidents are continuing like it happened in More also yesterday itself. So things are happening. Now, restoring peace is of utmost important, but along with that, a few more important steps are needed. If you ask me on the stopping of violence, in the last 2 days, I've noticed the government is showing some nerve now where police also, security forces also is using weapons now and firing back. Is what happened in More, which is good in a way. Second, I think at the political level, bureaucratic level, and the police level, I think a lot of changes and reshuffle is required because there was division in between. And I think more neutral officers should be sent from outside, posted to responsible positions. And insiders, they should be sent out. And weapons we must get back. 4,000 weapons or about 3,500 weapons are still with these people. So I'm sure that it will be part of the peace process that weapons should be surrendered. Only 1,000 have been surrendered. All of them may not come back, but well, if a big number comes, I think it will be a very big relief. And of course, justice to people. Ultimately, see, they'll want justice to what happened to them. For that, either CBI cases or court-monitored cases should be there, fast-track courts, quick charge sheets, and all that. And last will be, see, the basic questions which created the problem, and rightly so. There was an attack on drug cartels, on drugs, on poppy cultivation, on illegal immigrants. I think on that there should be no compromise. I think the government should be firm on that. This is very, very important. And relief measures, of course, should be done immediately for the people. I think basically this is what, according to me, is the package which the government should be looking for, and I hope they are looking for. Shavan.
Well, in fact, we've seen some sort of a partial relief in the past. There has been a relative peace period in the state of Manipur. But let's not forget the fact that perhaps this was actually taken for granted. Let me just quickly take this question now to Savio Rodriguez of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Savio, let's admit it. The government of the day, as far as Manipur government led by N. Biren Singh is concerned, had completely failed. 85 days on, violence unabated, and then you actually had some people saying that, okay, there's rumor mongering that's actually happening. Did you actually take this entire situation very lightly? And second, the bigger allegation that has been leveled against the N. Biren Singh government is that perhaps an attempt was actually made to provoke the tribals, given the fact that there was already an existing divide between the Kukis and Meiteis. The Kukis essentially believe that the Meiteis have largely taken the political power, and that situation has only aggravated over a period of time. So your government, somewhere down the line, has been accused of exacerbating this entire divide between the Kukis and Meiteis.
Shaban, the most important thing at this point of time, while it is right for many people to allege and Shaban, at this point of time, while it is right for people across India to question the responsibility of the BJP government in the state, the most important thing to us as a country and as a political party and a government, both at the state and the center, is to correct what has gone wrong in Manipur and to work forward towards peace and harmony. In fact, Cardinal Oswald Gracious put out a beautiful message, and I wish every Indian all across actually listen to Cardinal Gracious' message. His message was primarily the problem in Manipur. The problem in Manipur was not a religious conflict. It was a conflict of the tribes which had got aggravated by certain decisions that were taken, where one particular tribe thought that a particular tribe with the government power was trying to assert their rights in the state. And that is where the problem is. It is not a religious conflict. It is not a Hindu-Christian fight. But for us as a nation, as a government, we have to work towards ensuring that the conflict is resolved and future violence is avoided with the right measures. So the BJP government at this point of time, and you might say we have failed, and we have got the humility to accept that, which is why we want to correct it and move forward, is to bring peace back to Manipur, because Manipur is a very peaceful place. It is also a people that are very hospitable. Unfortunately, for the last 85 days, a very ugly side of Manipur has come out. And then Manipur represents India, and that ugly side of Manipur has come out, which you saw in the tribal conflict. And what we need to do right now is to get the good people in the Kuki and the Meitei tribes to realize that they have to live and work together like they have done. The dormant conflict that existed between the two tribes was triggered in the last 85 days, which is why they behaved in such a manner. That's traditionally not what they are. So it is the government's duty, and we are working on that. That is why the peace talks are going. That is why the negotiations are going on. We cannot live on the fact that a mistake has happened. We have to correct that. These are our people at the end of the day. You look at social media and you see what's happening around. Everybody is trying to basically put more fuel into the fire. We have to douse the fire right now, which is why I'm saying Cardinal Gracious' statement is the most important statement that has come out on this issue.
Well, in fact, Savio, almost a month ago, we raised this entire issue, reported from the ground showing the current situation from both sides, from the valley as well as from the hill areas. And it was for everyone to see. Why did it take 85 days for the government to really wake up and say that, okay, finally we are working towards a breakthrough? Yes, the government was saying that, okay, a lot of these things have been happening under the wraps and it's only coming to a friction stage right now. Shyam Prasad Mekka, as far as the opposition parties are concerned, you have all rights to corner the government whenever they have failed to do so. But the fact of the matter is that why did it take that one video to perhaps wake up your conscience. Where were you for the last several months when even our network was actually focusing on what was happening on the ground? You as an opposition have also failed Manipur. If the government has failed, so has the opposition parties too, because you've woken up 85 days later.
Yeah, I will take that like the infallible Vishwaguru who cannot fail. If he failed means everybody else failed. That's the line you are taking. Is that what you are trying to say?
I don't think, if you've not understood my question. No, question is that when did you wake up? When did you wake up? The government has failed, there is no doubt.
Nonsense.
One second.
We are aware
Shyam-Prasad
all the
Meka,
time.
I'm repeating my question. I'm repeating.
When will the government wake up? That's the question.
Well, it seems we're losing out.
Hello.
Shyam-Prasad Meka, can you hear me? Shyam-Prasad Meka, the question that I was asking you is that why did it take a video to wake you up?
No, one second. Opposition parties were always talking about it, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi visited the place even before the video, right? So don't tell me that story. The conscience of the mainland India is awakened after the video, which is a sad thing that we all need to learn that lesson. Now, the important thing is bring the violence under control, take out the trust deficit, and then work on a solution. Let's not do politicking on this, and let's not do agenda-based propaganda. Stop the propaganda.
Then they should have okay.
Stop
If
the
there shouldn't be a
about
politicking.
vilifying
Okay, if there is no politicking on
one
this entire
section
matter,
or the other. Stop that, please.
If there is no politicking, then why not?
Everybody on this panel and across the political spectrum to stop the propaganda, at least on this issue. Humanity is losing out. Your parties might win or lose. Humanity is losing out.
I completely
This is
agree
what
with
happens
The
when you
question
feed
I
hatred to
completely
large
agree
sections
with
of the
it.
people.
Shravan, I completely agree with this gentleman.
the question here is that
I
one needs
completely
to
agree with
understand.
it. That's
No,
precisely
Mr.
what we
Meka,
need to do.
Mr. Meka, there is,
That's
Mr. Meka, just to remind you, I come from one of the northeastern states, and let me just tell you that there are several complexities that one has to deal with, and more importantly, a lot of you are now talking about this entire issue because it serves your political interest, and now finally you've woken up to what we have been saying, that humanity has been crucified in the state of Manipur. Mr. Vora, I just want to take one last word from you because I'm looking at what is the way forward. The government says that they have a pact.
I totally disagree with you.
Okay,
the line
make your point. Make your point.
We have woken up. No, still the government has not woken up. Talk about that. Have some courage to ask the question to the powers.
Of course. No, which part have you? No, which part have you not heard? I've asked the same question. I've asked the same question of Savio Rodriguez. No, one second, Shyam-Prasad Meka. Now, this is where I say that this is propaganda.
No, that is wrong.
Which
That
part
is
of it did you not hear?
wrong
I asked this
narrative.
question. 1 minute.
And
Shyam-Prasad
people
Meka,
are
it's very
seeing
unfair on
through
your
your
part.
narrative.
Shyam-Prasad Meka, it's very unfair. I don't know which part have you missed out. I don't know which part have you missed out. I started this debate by raising this question about how N. Biren Singh's government has completely failed in the state of Manipur. They should have acted right from the beginning, despite security forces being brought in, a unified command being put in place. Why exactly did it actually take this video to surface? Now, whether at all there is a larger conspiracy at play and we do not know about it, let the central agencies look into it. But for God's sake, lives have been lost. Lives have been lost, and for many of you sitting in the drawing rooms who do not understand the issues, the complexities revolving around several northeastern states, it's perhaps easier said than done. Mr. Vora would actually tell you that the difficulty is not only coming up with this agreement that we're talking about to ensure that peace prevails in the state of Manipur. That's all that we could pack in this edition of Trending Burning Question. On the other side, the big debate, with Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami.
The Amity MBA has been ranked among India's top 10 for the last 6 years in the Times of India B School Survey. Yet another top ranking after being ranked among India's top 10 by Economic Times and Business Today.
To apply, visit amity.edu.
The issue in Manipur is very complex. The horror of the video in which the women are paraded naked and the gang rape on these women has shaken the entire nation.